Peace, peace. This your host, Selah, Shalom. Once again, another day out enjoying nature. You know, starting my mornings in nature. Like I said, if you could ever get a chance to connect with nature in the morning, go ahead and do that. It'll start your day off perfect. Peace of mind. I want to touch on the God of Israel and the concept of God in the Bible dealing with the Israelites. There's a misconception going on with the concept of the God of Israel. The misconception is that they're confusing the Creator with, if you want to call him Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever name you want to call what you would consider the omnipotent Creator. There's a confusion with that concept and the concept of Elohim or Elo, which is a title bestowed on an angel. So when you read in the Bible that God is in the image of man, most think that the omnipotent Creator now has put himself in the form and figure of a deity. And this is where the misconception comes from. Because now you're confusing the Creator with the deity, and you're not distinguishing the two. And so the Bible got it commingled together and got you believing that the Creator is this deity with all these powers, and he's jealous and angry. He's a God of war. That's where the misconception comes in at. So like, when you read the 7-day creation account, and it talks about let us make men, we're dealing with Elohim, plural, meaning multiple gods. So right there, we're not dealing with the omnipotent Creator when we're dealing with the 7-day creation account. We're dealing with an angelic host. And when you trace it back even further from the Hebrews, going back to the Babylonians, you will see that that story comes from the 7 tablets of creation. And on the 7 tablets of creation, you get the same concept of man being created on the 6th day, and you got these Elohims doing the work. But in that doctrine, how you doing? All right. But in that doctrine, it tells you who the players are, which is the sons of Anu, or the Anunnakis. But in the Hebraic account, it just tells you Elohim. It just gives you the title, but it doesn't give you the names of the gods. So with that being said, this is where the confusion lies. Because the angelic hosts put themselves first in the Bible. In the 7-day creation story, they placed themselves prior. They put themselves before the Creator. So now, when you read that account, it got you believing that these gods in Genesis are the Creator, and they're not. But you accept it that way because this is the beginning of the book, this is Genesis, so this got to be God, the Creator, omnipotent speaking. But it's not. It's a host of angels speaking. And then when we come down to Moses, you know, the Creator speaks to Moses, lead him out of Egypt. And then the Israelites spend some time in the wilderness. The next thing you know, they're going to conquer the land of Canaan under the authority of God. Now again, we're dealing with the angel, because God is a title bestowed on an angel. So the Israelites was under the command of an angel, and that angel intent was to wipe out the Canaanites, so the Israelites could have dominion in that land. But the false god was using the Israelites as a pawn to get the land. And that false god was Baal, by the way. Baal. The true light of Yahweh, or the Creator, came to Moses, when they led him out of Kemet. During the ending of the Middle Kingdom and the beginning of the New Kingdom, that gap between there was the Exodus. 1550 BC, Moses was Amenemhet IV. Moses' stepfather was Amenemhet III, and his half-sister was Sobek-Neferu. The last rulers of the Middle Kingdom, that was the household of Moshe. And the pharaoh that persecuted was Amos I, who was the first ruler of the New Kingdom. So when that transpired, the Israelites was under the inspiration of the Creator coming out of Egypt. 400 years later is when they lost inspiration of the Creator, and they was inspired by the false god Baal. Baal gained inspiration over the Israelites by using the Canaanite women. So once Baal got the inspiration over the Israelites, he commanded them to go into Canaan, slew the Canaanites, and establish the land. But that was all under the auspice of Baal, the false god. That wasn't coming from the authority of the Creator, because the Creator does not consider killing as a way to get the job done. Only the false gods consider that. So now Baal is now ruling over Israel during the time of the kings, the reign of the kings for that 400-year period. For that 400-year plus period, when the kings of Israel and the judges and all them was reigning, they was under a false god. And the prophets who was going against the king, they was under the inspiration of the angel in service to the Creator. And that was the split between Israel. You had those still servicing the Creator, omnipotent, not in the image of a being. And then you had those who started worshiping the Creator in the image of a man, God of war. And that split the belief system of the Israelites. You got the northern tribes, you got the southern tribes. Northern is Israel, southern is Judah, Benjamin, Levi. So the prophets was trying to reestablish the laws of Moshe according to its authenticity to the Israelites, because the Israelites had strayed and started worshiping strange gods, heathen gods, started sacrificing their kids to Moloch, the false god. The same thing you see going on today with these blood sacrifices. All that stemmed from them times. And these false gods, when they lose dominion, another false god will take its place and continue on the activity, although that false god has been knocked off. Other false gods will continue to wear the crown. So with the Israelites, that's what you got to be careful of, because you have God and then you got the omnipotent Creator, and most time they confuse the two. And you got to be mindful of that. When dealing with scripture. Yeah, peace, brother. So that's a challenge for the Israelites. And the only way to break that code is you really got to study the OAHSPE, because it showed you the ruling gods who was ruling over Israel during those times of antiquity. Now, the God that most Israelites are under today is Luamung, the false Christ. It was Luamung who inspired the compiling of the Tanakh, and I already showed this in the OAHSPE, so you can go back and watch the videos. It was Luamung, the false Christ, who inspired the Tanakh through Ezra. And it was Luamung who inspired the New Testament as well. So that whole belief system, or that whole the Tanakh, New Testament, all that's the works of another fallen angel. There's some authenticity in the text, don't get me wrong, because he selected, when he inspired his hosts, or when he inspired his mortal ward, he inspired them to select accounts from different histories. Some from Kemet, some from the Hebrew account, some from the Sumerian account. And he compiled the text in that manner. So with some truth in there, and of course there's some lies in there. So, with that being said, Luamung is the one who was behind Christianity. Luamung is the one who was behind the cause of Islam being started. Luamung is behind the Tanakh and the New Testament. All that's Luamung. And I went through the videos to show you how he established these things. So once Luamung established the Tanakh, the New Testament, now people believe in this book, thinking that the God that they're reading about is the God of all of antiquity, the I am, Yahweh. But nah, this is Luamung. He inspired these texts to be compiled. He's the one who inspired Serapis to make an image of a false deity. And later on, Aisu, Jesus, as the Christians portray him, hanging on a cross. All that come from Luamung. You're dealing with the Illuminati, secret society, the Masonic order. All that is Luamung. Blood sacrifice that you're hearing about. Oh, we gotta do blood sacrifice ritual. All that stem out of Luamung's establishment, back from antiquity. 2,000 years later, his effect is still prevalent. So you got to be mindful of that. OAHSPE break the codes and show you who the key players are in the book. So you could be mindful of who's speaking. Is this the Creator speaking, or is this true God speaking, or is this a false God speaking? You got to be mindful of those three things. The voice of the Creator, the voice of the Creator speaking through true God, and then the false God and their agenda and their intent. An easy way you can detect if somebody's in service to the Creator or not is by their intent. An angel in service to the Creator will come to you and say, in order to reach the heavenly kingdoms, you got to purify your body. You got to continue to raise your grade, continue to educate. There's endless worlds far past this one to experience as your spiritual progression continues. That's what somebody from the Creator may say to show you the endless progression. But an angel of a false God may come and be like, if you want to be one in my kingdom, you're going to have to bow down before me in reverence to me, pay token to me. In my kingdom, there is no higher heaven. In the kingdom that we worship, that's the all highest kingdom. And the other kingdom is false. I am the only true and living God. All other gods are false. Worship me, and I'll bring you into paradise, and you'll enjoy 70 virgins. Or you'll enjoy 1,000 years of peace and bliss with me. They'll lure you in with pleasant words of paradise. There is no other higher heaven than mine. Come worship with me and rest for 1,000 years. Things of that nature. You got to distinguish which voice is coming from the Creator and which voice is coming from these fallen angels. Even when you read scripture, regardless of whatever text it is you read it, you got to be able to detect who's speaking. And the OAHSPE lays it out who's speaking hook, line, and sinker. So you know if it's the Creator speaking, or if it's the Creator speaking through true God, or if it's a false God speaking. You got to distinguish who is who. And that's where the Bible falls short, because it doesn't let you know who's speaking. It may mention a false God name like Baal, Ashtaroth, Dagon, Malak, some of these names, but they're vividly spoken. They don't give you no detailed history about these gods, while OAHSPE lays it out. That's why it's important to keep an open mind and obtain more knowledge, because what you could be looking for could be in a book that you're rejecting. The cornerstone that the builders rejected at this point is the OAHSPE, because it got the information you're looking for, but you despise it based on how it came about. That's your argument, not mine. I'm good. I got the understanding. I can move on. While you sitting there still scratching your head, worshiping a false God. Now you're wondering, damn, is God really a God of war? Yeah, God is a God of war, because God is an angel bestowed on God is a title bestowed on an angel. So yeah, he could be a God of war. Just like a king could be a king of war. See that? Because that king is still a person. That angel is still a person. But the omnipotent Creator, who created the sun, moon, and stars, rolling vortices, he has no time to be sitting up here talking about let's go to war. He is the architect of creation. He don't move like that. That would be silly for the Creator of all to be like, oh, I'm going to come down in battle. That's silly. He could just take off the light, take off the sun, and dissipate everything. Come on. You got to be more mindful of that. These are angels with titles as lords, Lord gods, and God. And if they're not in service to the Creator, they're in battle for dominion of parts of the lower heavens and earth. A false God can't go no higher than the second resurrection. That's his limitation. So he could have a base all over in the second resurrection, all over in the first resurrection, and he could have a base on earth. That's his limitation. That's his extension. So all you cats worshiping a God in the image of a man, and you think that's the omnipotent Creator, your limitation will be the second resurrection after death, or the second atmospheric plane. Until you learn to purge yourself from that ideology and become a subservient worker for the Creator. Not a slave, a worker. And that work is a service done unto other. Service done on creation, and creation will serve you. So with that being said, be mindful of your God you follow. There's a lot of false gods out here. You can tell by the inspiration on the people. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till the end come and Esau gets slain. The Muslims over here, Allahu Akbar, we're going to destroy all the Christians. Christians over here, we're going to wipe out the Muslims. All that is the struggle and the battle of the false gods. And at this point, the battles of the gods in this present time is Luamung and Gabriel. Luamung, the false Christ who established Christianity, and Gabriel, the false Allah who established Islam. Those are the two head honchos right now of the fallen angels that's in battle in our present time right now. Eastern Europe, Iraq, Middle East, going east, is Gabriel's dominion, because they have a high concentration of Muslims over there. Coming Western Europe to America is Luamung's dominion, because there's a high population of Christians over here in Europe. So the battle is between these two false gods, Christianity and Islam, under the auspice of science, technology. But their religious beliefs is Christianity and Islam. And the Hebrew Israelites fall up under that because y'all looking to seek battle too. Y'all thinking the Messiah gonna come back with blood soaked in a garment up to his girdle, battling, coming to save Israel. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen like that. That's not how it works according to the Creator. And once you know the system of the Creator, you would already know that's not how it works. That's the working of a false god, and his intentions is to get you to go in battle with him, so you could be slain, and the spirits could capture your spirit at the moment of death in battle and make you a subservient slaves in whatever false god kingdom, whoever that god would be. Because don't get me wrong, yeah, a fallen angel could show the ships, the UFOs, the spacecraft, the chariots. They could show them. They could descend down from the lower heavens to the earth and show the ships. And cats would be like, look, see, it's the second coming. And play out the second coming. And people would be like, it's Jesus, it's the Mahdi, it's Yeshua. Now they got you hook, line, and sinker. Because you said prophecy is being fulfilled. Even false gods can fulfill their own prophecy. If a false god stood on a prophecy, he can fulfill his own false prophecy. Now look at that. Now how are you going to detect a true prophecy from a false prophecy? Based off the intent. That's how you would know. So it's deeper than the surface. It's deeper than what you think. So if you're going to serve these false gods, be mindful of the condemnation that's come with that. The anarchy and the chaos and the hell that come with that. But if you serve the Creator, be mindful that you will continue to progress in the educational schools, factories, nurses, in the spirit world to continue to grow. And at the appointed time, you graduate and go to the next grade. And at the appointed time to the next grade until you ascend to the Etherian worlds outside of the earth and its atmosphere. And while you're ascending off to the Etherian world, guess what? Cats are still back here struggling in the lower heavens. That was with you, but you done graduated and moved on. That's like high school. You in the 12th grade and some of the homies ain't doing right. They get left behind for 3 years. So 3 years you already in the universities, and you looking back like, damn, them cats still in high school 3 years after. Still doing the same nonsense that they were doing in high school, and I done graduated and moved on. Same thing when you're dealing with service to the Creator compared to service to these false gods. We moving up and we moving on. We're like, damn, them cats still doing that? Man, that's crazy. Let's keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. So make sure you're in service to the Creator over these false gods so you don't be deceived. Just want to touch on that.